We all heard of anti-heroes, right? Well, have you ever thought about the opposite? Are there anti-villains? No. Okay, I'm just joking, honestly, but like, you should have seen your face, it was hilarious. Okay, but seriously. Well, anti-heroes are a very extremely popular topic. I never seen anyone talk about the opposite. I mean, fair. I didn't know that anti-villains were a thing until like 2 years ago, but I want to shed some light on them. If you don't know what an anti-villain is, it's a character that, despite doing bad things, is doing them for a good reason, or might even be a generally good person. They're not the most evil, but they're still bad. That's all I really need to say for the setup. Let's get into the list.
I'm gonna say the N-word.
So remember how like literally less than a minute ago I was talking about the difference between anti-heroes and anti-villains? What if for the first entry on this list, I immediately mess it all up? Good job, idiot. We can all agree that Pokemon peaked with Generation 5, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I love the newer games and even the older games, but when it comes to the gameplay, world, roster, music, Pokemon, characters, and story, Black and White is basically unrivaled. N is a big part of that. Every time you meet this guy, he's just the nicest person you ever meet. All he cares about is the rights of Pokemon. When he interacts with you, the guy is always just so kind and relaxed, just making his goals of separating Pokemon and people very clear. N believes that trainers abuse their Pokemon, and he tries to put an end to it, with the help of Team Plasma and his adoptive father Ghetsis. Isn't Ghetsis just a nice guy? Like, he adopts his lost kid, teaches him about right and wrong, makes him king of his own team, separates him from all society, warps his mind with lies, abuses him, lies about his true motives, and tries to take over the whole region. Oh, and he's a hacker. The biggest crime of them all. That's a big reason why N barely made it onto this list. He's got the motives and feel of an anti-villain, but by the end of the game, he realizes that Ghetsis is a dick waffle, and he pretty much becomes a full-on hero in the sequel, Black and White 2. Now, I can't really blame him for that. That makes sense for his character, and Black and White 2 are my favorite games in Pokemon. But when it comes to an anti-villain, which is, what the list is, he's just not that good for the entirety. Still, when he is an anti-villain, he's one of the best, and in general, he's one of the best characters in Pokemon. Long live the king of Team Plasma. Be prepared. Okay, this is the final, it's kind of anti-hero, kind of anti-villain character on this list, I promise. Last one, please forgive me, mother. We're talking about Scar. The other Scar, that one, him, yes, that guy, dude, yeah, good. Now, before I get too far into this, I'm strictly talking about the Brotherhood version of Scar. I haven't seen the original series, though I do plan to eventually. I'm very new to anime, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. So anyways, Scar is a serial killer, which is always fun, who specifically targets alchemists and other members of the government. While being a mass murderer isn't usually seen as a very good thing for some reason, Scar does have a good reason for doing it. The state alchemist killed the majority of his race, the Valen, and surprisingly, he wasn't planning the genocide. While murder is never suggested, you can't blame Scar considering what's happened to him in the past. But where Scar stumbles, again in the context of this list, is he starts working with Ed and the gang as the show goes on. He's never truly forgives the alchemists, but he does realize there's a bigger enemy, and he does kind of reform at the end. I mean, Scar is still probably my favorite character in the series, besides Barry, he's just a beautiful boy. But in terms of anti-villains, I can't really sing his praises too highly.
Lies are the glue that holds society together.
So, this is the second anime character on this list, and it's 2 in a row. Remember when I hate anime? That was a lot of fun. Good old days. Hero Killer Stain from My Hero Academia is actually pretty similar to Scar. He's also a serial killer targeting a specific group of people, pro heroes. Interesting thing about him is that Stain actually does have some respect for very certain heroes, like All Might and even saves Deku from a monster in the series. His ideology is that there are pure heroes, but most pros just aren't very good people. And he tries to weed them out by murder. Listen, I'm praising the characters, not their morals. Don't put me on a watch list. While he does get stopped after only a few episodes, and I'm not sure if he'll ever appear later on, his appearance really does kickstart the League of Villains into being more of a threat, and his ideology resonates with so many criminals that they decide to join. Most notably Spinner, who is so obsessed with Stane's views that he refuses to kill Deku despite being ordered to because Stane saved him before. Okay, so this doesn't have a lot to do with him being anti-villain, but I don't think Stane looks like Monkey Fist from Kim Possible. It just bothered me ever since I saw the show. I had to get it out there somewhere. When it comes to the main antagonists for a long-running series, you never really see them have any big shakeups on their plans or motivations. Sure, the hero and villain may team up briefly, or a new character may pop up and they might make them change a few things in the plot, but it's never so much. When Ganondorf was introduced as the Lord of all Evil, that's pretty much all he's going to be for the rest of the entire series. Like, yeah, in some games he's a bit more layered, and in every game he's shown to be quite intelligent, but never really sympathetic or anything. That is, with the exception of Wind Waker. Most Ganons just kind of want to rule the world, and that's it. He's evil, and a story, goodbye, see you later. In Wind Waker, though, he does it for the good of his people. The desert that the Gerudo live in is very, very hot, and not in a good way. He tries to make the Gerudo at the top of the totem pole, and have them live in Hyrule, which has a much better living environment. He does this by flooding Earth, which, I mean, not what I would do to help your people, but not what I would do, but his heart's in the right place. Shut up. His heart's not actually in the right place. He murdered millions, but it's for his people. And his people matter. Well, it's actually kind of interesting, considering that in previous games, the Gerudo are kind of ashamed of Ganondorf. And Ganon in this version doesn't even try to kill Link, just kind of subdue him, so he's out of the way. It's very interesting that they decided to take Ganon this way, and personally, I would consider this Ganon my favorite of all the Ganons. Well, in terms of personality and character and motivation, stuff like that. Design-wise, that goes to Twilight Princess. That guy's a Chad.
Meow?
Why are cats always shown so negatively in cartoons? Yeah, there's some good ones, but it seems like a good 90% of animated cats are shown as pure evil, despite them not really being that bad. Look at Sylvester from Looney Tunes, for example. He's a bad guy, right? So he's trying to harm innocent little Tweety. Well, okay, yeah, sure, but you have to remember, he's a cat. He's just following his instinct. Cats chase birds. It's very simple. You can't blame a cat for being a cat. Blame Granny for leaving Tweety out of her cage and out in the open. You also blame Tweety for being an annoying little... Tom from Tom and Jerry is an even better example of this. When I was a kid, I always thought Tom was the bad guy, always trying to harm innocent little Jerry, but no, Tom's in the right. At least for Sylvester, you could argue that Tweety Bird, while being kind of an antagonist, is still, wanted by Granny, it is her pet. But Jerry, he's just a pest. He's a literal pest. Tom doesn't deserve to be blown up by Donna. He deserves a medal. He's risking his life for his owners who abuse him, while he's just trying to rid the world of this mouse. Jerry's stealing food and destroying the house. Tom deserves to win. Why do we see this guy as a bad guy? Then there's Pete from Disney. Character so underrated, I doubt you even knew that he was a cat. Sure, he's had some clear examples of villainy, but most of the time, he's just minding his own business before Mickey and the gang ruin everything for him. In Goof Troop, he's shown to be a very good father, and also dummy thick. He's helped out Mickey and the gang several times just because he could, and a lot of times, he's just doing his job. Mickey's breaking the law, so obviously he's going to try to get him. That's his job! Pete really does deserve more love, you guys. He's older than both Mickey and Oswald, but he doesn't even have a costume in the parks. Come on. If he's not on the new DuckTales, I will cry. So yeah, these three just really get the short end of the stick. And before you say it's cheating for me to lump three characters from different franchises into one spot just because they're the same species, I counter that with, to my list, Go Eat a Toaster.
Why'd the music stop?
Return the slide.
It's a little sad how people ignore the 2D era of the DreamWorks movies. They range in quality, just like their 3D films, but when they're good, they're really, really good. Out of all these, I think most of us can agree that Prince of Egypt is the best of all of them. It's got some of the best animation and music of any 2D anime film I can think of. Along with something actually relevant to this video, one of the best villains of all time. Pharaoh Ramses is of course the main villain. You all know the story about Moses. But the way they write him isn't what you'd expect from most versions of Moses, especially a kid's version. He's a genuinely good guy who cares a lot about his adopted brother, along with some of his subjects, but because of his upbringing from his father, he doesn't see his slaves as truly human, and is very, very prideful. He's really a tragic figure, one you could even see going to the good side, but his sense of pride and wanting to make his father proud overcomes his good qualities. In fact, there was a scene between Ramses and Moses they had to rewrite, because Moses was written to be too mean to Ramses. The good guy, the guy selected by God himself, was too mean to the evil Pharaoh who captured slaves. If that doesn't say this is a great character, I don't know what does. In my personal opinion, Ramses is the best DreamWorks villain, besides maybe Lord Shen from Kung Fu Panda 2. I made an entire entry on DreamWorks without mentioning Shrek once. Are you proud of me, guys? The Samurai Jack episode, Tale of X-49, is legitimately one of the best episodes in all of Western animation. It focuses on the titular X-49, a robot made by the main villain Aku to aid his army in killing Jack. The thing is though, X-49 was one of the robots made with a personality chip. Because of this, he decided to abandon his duty as Aku's henchman and eventually adopted a dog, which he named Lulu. They lived a quite peaceful life, until Aku finally found him and stole Lulu away. Aku made a deal with 49. He'll give Lulu back if 49 can kill Samurai Jack. X-49 knows that he can't beat Jack, but what choice does he have? He goes to fight Jack, but is immediately struck down. We never really see what Aku does with Lulu in the end. Personally, I like to think that he lets her go. Killing Lulu doesn't really help him with his goals, and he does entertain children in one episode, so he does have a soft spot, but that's something we'll never know. A lot of media makes a big deal about not killing the bad guy, because only villains kill people, but even in those, they always kill the mooks, the little guys, because who cares? They're just dumb minions, they're mooks. They don't have personalities, but then Samurai Jack comes in, and we have X-49. He's got his own life, he's got goals, friends, emotions, and it still ends with him dying. It really comes into question the morals of killing innocent henchmen.
Lulu, take care of Lulu.
And above that tragedy, we have Stripe talks about Kirby entry number 1,000, 2,000,000, 5 jillion. I mixed it up. Frick! What's there to say on Midnight that I haven't said before? Like, yeah, he's seen as a bad guy, but when you look at it, he's almost always a good guy. He just has a really, really bad way of showing it. In Kirby's Dream Land, he teams up with DDD to stop Kirby, but he sometimes sends his minions against Kirby, but sometimes he throws healing items to him. And even then, he's only helping DDD because he's trying to hold this giant demon inside of Star Rod. His most evil is in Superstar, where he tries to overthrow King Dedede so he can take rule of Dreamland. But he's doing that because he hates everyone being lazy. He hates Dedede's lazy ways, and he hates how everyone just does nothing. He wants people to be more active. He is Sportacus, and Dedede is Robbie Rotten. And I am aware that Game Theory made that exact same joke, but I have photographic evidence that I made this Discord post a week before he made his video making the same joke, so dab. Yes, I am kind of repeating myself from my old, mask video. I do plan on making another, fully Kirby video. We'll talk about all the Kirby characters. That'll be the last time. Hopefully I need to talk about this stupid little board. I'll see you when I make, top 10 show and have something stupid like that. So remember how I said I learned about anti-villains 2 years ago? What an oddly specific year. What if there's some giant movie that came out with a character that became so popular that he pretty much redefined villains and he's so iconic? And it's Thanos. I'm talking about Thanos. I'm talking about the famous. I'm sorry, guys. I tried. I really want to give this spot to Magneto or Sandman or someone. But when it comes to the representative for Marvel for this list, it can only be one. It had to be the Mad Titan, the Galactic Overlord, the Eternal, the Inevitable, the guy who could totally be Darkseid in a fight. I don't care what anyone says. The dinosaur, apparently, the Fortnite champion, the beatboxer extraordinaire, the second thickest boy in history, Thanos. I should note this is specifically about the MCU version, not any of the comics or the cartoons. The reason comes down to motive. While the comic and cartoon versions are motivated by either power or impressing death, the film wants, as you all know, to balance the universe. He believes that the world is going to reach overpopulation, just like his planet did. And to stop it, he kills half of the population in the worlds he goes to, and later decides to get the Infinity Gauntlet just to speed up the process. While I don't agree with the idea of killing billions, you can see where Thanos is coming from. Overpopulation is a problem, even in the real world, and Thanos is doing this completely selflessly. He does it just to ensure the rest of the universe can be happy, even killing his own daughter just to do so. And you all know this. You've all seen the film. You've all seen the 7 billion videos analyzing Thanos in this film. You know that every single thing he says in this movie has become a meme. You've all worn the Pickle Thanos cosplay. Thanos does deserve all his popularity, though. So why is he only the one runner-up? Well, have you noticed I've only talked about Infinity War? I haven't mentioned Endgame at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved Endgame, but it kind of screws over Thanos. It started off fine, but after Thor chops his head off, and we get the 2014 version of Thanos, he just loses a lot of his luster. He's no longer trying to balance the universe, he just wants to recreate it and kill everyone on it, which isn't as interesting. And really, that version of Thanos, I can't even call him an anti-villain. He's just a pure villain. But for Infinity War, he's amazing, and he deserves every bit of popularity he gets. But he doesn't deserve number 1. Before we get to who does, honorable mention time. So, honorable mentions. Count Bleck from Super Paper Mario. He's got all the hallmarks of an anti-villain, but I excluded him because I didn't want to include too many characters that reformed. The same applies to Zuko from Avatar. Zim from Invader Zim. Yeah, world domination isn't the greatest thing, but like, he just wants to be loved, okay? Stinky Pete from Toy Story 2. He's a nice guy at first, only turns on his friends because he doesn't want to miss his chance of finally being in the spotlight. Dr. Embryo from Crash 2. He tries to help Crash and his friends by destroying the Cortex plans, which he does by throwing his minions at Crash so he doesn't get the crystals. And he even helps in the secret ending, destroying the Cortex Vortex. The Mudos from Godzilla 2014. They're just animals. They want to find love. Godzilla fires plasma down their throats.
My super laser pierce!
Frankenstein monster. Knowledge is knowing that the Frankenstein isn't the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster. I said it, that means I'm deep. Every single boss from Cuphead, besides the Devil and King Dice, as they only attack Cuphead because they're trying to protect their soul contracts from him. And finally, Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Dr. Doof was originally number 6 on this list. Then I realized Dr. Doofenshmirtz isn't an anti-villain or anti-hero. He isn't even a villain. Dr. Doofenshmirtz is a bona fide hero. Think about it. He's a great father, best friend with his own rival, a genuinely nice person. We should all strive to be Dr. Doofenshmirtz. Remember, if Dr. Doofenshmirtz can find love, there's still a chance for you. And with all that out of the way, number 1. Obviously, someone from Batman had to be number 1. Most of Batman's rogue gallery aren't pure evil, they just need some help, with some exceptions like Joker, but even then, some versions try to humanize him. Almost any Batman villain could make this list. Clayface is just an actor who was turned into a monster and wants to go back to normal. Poison Ivy wants to protect the environment, acts like a big sister Harley Quinn, and even adopted children when they lost their parents. Catwoman is a jewel thief, but she never really hurts people during her schemes, and is Batman's main love interest. Even Killer Croc, or at least the post-Flashpoint version, protects Gotham's cast-aside members and brutally murders any of the corrupt higher-up members of society who dares to hurt them. Harley Quinn was almost on this list, with her being Joker's girlfriend, while still being a very good person deep down, but I'm just not as big of a fan of some of the newer portrayals of her. I could go on, but I'm sure you've noticed I missed a certain character. The title of Best Anti-Villain could only go to one person, and how could it be anyone else but Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Cool party.
Freeze has had its ups and downs. Originally, he was just a common criminal that likes ice for some reason. It wasn't until the animated series, where he's finally given a reason for everything. All he's trying to do in life is to revive his wife, Nora, who's been affected with a deadly disease. so he cryogenically freezes her until he can find a way to help her. Everything Freeze does is just to help his wife. Okay, so why Freeze is number one? Like, yeah, he's iconic and you can sympathize with him, but like, why him over everyone else I've mentioned? Well, Freeze sets himself apart from everyone I've mentioned on this list, either on the list or honorable mentions or the other Batman villains, for one reason. I'm completely behind him all the way. Think about it. Not only does he try to save an innocent person, but he doesn't try to do it in a harmful way. He tries to avoid innocent people in his schemes. And while he does rob people, it's not like people he robs are particularly nice people. Like I said, a lot of the characters in Gotham are very corrupt. The only person you can argue that he harms is Batman. But even then, Batman himself admits that Freeze deep down is still a good person. Yes, King Ramses cares about his brother, but he still uses slaves. You want X-49 to unite with his dog, but you don't want to see Samurai Jack killed. State alchemists and pro-heroes may have some corrupt members, not all of them are corrupt. Thanos may have a point on overpopulation, but genocide is never the answer. Mr. Freeze, though? I'm all aboard with his plans. I want him to save his wife. I want him to win. And that's why I consider him best anti-villain in all of fiction. Yeah, I was supposed to make a joke, usually. That's how you write in videos, right? I have a pretty good joke. How about this? Life